Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about indoor sports photography, specifically track and field. So last weekend we had our first indoor track and field meet of the season, and I wanted to share some of my photos along with the footage to go along with it so you can see kind of where I'm at on the track. I am usually, and this whole meet I was on the infield in our indoor track arena. So to start off with the gear that I used my Canon R6s per usual and went with the 70-200 on one and the 24-70 on the other body. And as we got going, I realized that I kind of just wanted to focus in on getting as many events as possible. And so I just put down the second body and put it in my bag and put it away for the day, just to focus on my 70-200 and just to focus on getting as many photos as possible to start off the year with a good amount of photos. And the reason that is I look back at my previous years when I have the 24-70 at the early meets, and it's not so much of people getting their PRs. It's more about getting the participation and start getting back into the flow of indoor track. At least from what I see, we sit a lot of people and they don't participate in the first early meets. Usually they're there just helping. And so it's a lot of incoming or some people just trying to get back in the flow of things from what I can see. So I wanted to really focus in on the 70-200. And that is because, like I was saying, when I look back at previous years in the early meets, there's not a lot of finish line celebrations. There's not a lot of team celebrations towards the end of the meet or anything like that. And I usually keep the 24-70 on the second body for those celebrations or or those trophy presentations that we get later in the season when we hold the nationals or go to champs, whatever it may be. So I knew that I probably wasn't going to need anything crazy wide this whole time. So that's why I stuck with the 70-200 for the remainder of the track meet. So now to talk about some of my settings. Track and field is the one time where I use face detection almost 100% of the time, because there's nobody that is like running into the frame, and it's not like other sports where there's a lot of people in the frame. It's just that one athlete doing their thing. So I can use that face detection without worrying about it jumping to other people within the frame. And so it gives me sharp focus every single time. It's always going to work because most of the time they're coming at you. You know, if they're sprinting, you're probably down the track from them and they're coming towards you. So it's easy to lock on and just focus in on the athlete that you need. So that is the focus that I use the most, is facial detection. Occasionally I'll go to one spot. One spot comes in handy when it's a long distance run and they're kind of piled in for the first couple laps. I can make sure that I'm straight on the athlete that I need and it's going to focus. Now for white balance, I know people are going to say if you're shooting raw, it doesn't matter, but I set my white focus custom when I'm shooting in this arena or in any matter, and that saves me editing time. I know you got full range in editing, so it doesn't really matter, but it saves me a lot of time to just set my white balance as close as possible to what I want, and then I just have to make small adjustments in the Lightroom when I'm editing. So I usually set around 4,000 in this arena because we have some mixed lighting with the windows, and then we have the artificial lighting. And then as the night goes on, I might adjust it once we start losing any of that light that's coming in from the windows. But I find that 4K usually works pretty well for me in that arena. Now, if you're curious about what autofocus case I'm using, I've been using 1 and 2 a lot lately. During football season, I was kind of moving around with that a little bit, and I find that 1 and 2 work the best for me. And usually I think I'm set at 1 right now, and that's what I stuck with at the track meet. So if that's something that you're curious about, I'm usually using case 1 or 2. Now I do have the 300 F2.8 and I can adapt it to the R6, but this go around I was using the 300 on my film camera to finish up some film for my year-long Gorillas on Film project that I'm doing. So I was trying to finish up half a roll. So I got some of that shot, and then I finished the rest of it at the last home game, basketball game that we had. So the 300 was preoccupied on a different body. I could have switched it off and used it, but I felt like I had enough reach with the 70-200. 70-200 is such a solid lens, so I wasn't feeling like I really needed that extra reach with the 300 in any aspect. I will occasionally use it down the line. I usually always use it in track and field, especially with like sprints. That way I can get them before they get to the finish line, and I can be straight on with them, and it allows me to be on the back wall and not be in the way, so the judges don't tell me to get off the track or anything, because I'm usually far enough back. Now, if you're curious about any of this footage that I have going along with these photos, this is the Insta360 RS Twin. It has a 4K lens for this footage, and then I can also take the 4K lens off and put the 360 lens on. But lately I've been sticking with the 4K, but I will probably use the 360 lens here in the future, so you can get more of a POV of where I'm exactly at within the basketball game or a track and field meet. So keep an eye out for that. Now for shutter speed, ISO, and my aperture, I'm always at f2.8. I shoot all my sports at f2.8 unless I'm trying to do any specialty shots where I'm trying to do some shutter drag or some slow shutter stuff. I will change the f-stop there, but for this indoor or any indoor sports, I'm going to be at f2.8, and I'm trying to get my shutter speed up to 1/1000th. If I have to, I'll go to 1/800th of a second, but I'm always trying to keep that shutter speed super fast. And then depending on the time of day in this arena, I can be anywhere from 800 ISO up to 2400. It all kind of depends on also where I'm shooting. Pole vault is further across from the windows, so I'm a little higher on the shutter or on the ISO over there to get the shutter speed that I want, to get the exposure that I need. And then, like, as you could see in the sprints and stuff like that, I'm closer to the windows, and if it's earlier in the day, I got plenty of light coming in. So I'm going to be on the lower end there, and I might even go a little faster on the shutter as they are running a little faster than maybe a pole vault or a high jumper would be. So always trying to keep it 1/800th or faster, and so my ISO is going to fluctuate depending where I'm at in the arena. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed these photos. If you have any questions, always feel free to put them down in the comments down below. Also, if you would like to DM me any questions, because maybe you don't have an account on YouTube and you're just watching it without being logged in, you can always reach out to me on Instagram at GorillaPhotog. Also, if you want to check out any of the film project that I'm doing with the Pitt State athletic stuff, you can see that on my Instagram at DerekAndFilm. Links are in the description for most of my socials, especially when it comes to that stuff on Instagram. But with that said, I appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.